Welcome to episode 38 of Cue the Duck Boats podcast. I love that. We're really trying to spruce up the visual part of this podcast. So make sure you guys subscribe to the Inside the Rink YouTube and find us there. And you'll get to see all of our amazing overlays and all these crazy cool videos that we've been cooking up in the kitchen. How you boys feeling today? Yeah. Oh yeah. 3 beers. 3 beers. You know. Oh wow. Okay. I'm actively watching the Cowboys game during this podcast, so if you get some reactions, that's why. And let's get this ball rolling. Kevin, famous number 38.
I'm going to have to go with that one Boone Jenner.
Riverboat Boone. Connor, that's one of your favorite players, isn't it?
Absolutely not.
Oh, I thought you were a big Boone guy.
No, absolutely not, especially somebody wearing a Columbus Blue Jackets jersey. However, fun fact, I do have a Dayton Bombers jersey in my closet. Don't ask me why, but I do.
Like Dayton College?
No, like their affiliate team, the Dayton Bombers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't know. I actually had no idea that's their AHL?
I don't know exactly what affiliate it is. Hold on, I can check, but I have one of their jerseys in my closet. Like I said, don't even remember where I got it from. Actually, that's a lie. I totally do, but
yeah, just won't forget to put that. Yeah, I'm catching. I'm picking up what you're putting down. ECHL. ECHL, yeah. So
the mysterious Connor Green.
Wow. Yeah, just for transparency, this is kind of a flu game tonight. It's kind of a flu game. I'm getting over being sick. Connor's actively sick. Kevin's always wheezing. So it's really
he's gonna be sick after he eats some 4 to 5 hour old Chick-fil-A that got delivered to the island. Every episode,
that stuff been in the fridge.
Food delivered.
Yeah, in the fridge, bro.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
I'm not like some animal.
Gotta pop it in the air fryer, make it nice and crispy again.
Yeah.
Tell the lovely people what you got from
Chick-fil-A. Yeah, what'd you get? What'd you get, man?
Jesus' chicken.
I don't know. I think it's just some strips and some waffle fries.
Oh, cold reheated waffle fries.
Well, if you air fry them, it might be okay.
Hey, I didn't ask for it. My dad just was off island, brought it back. It's more my brother wanted it, and I was an afterthought, you know.
All right, yeah. Shout out Dennis. You know what? He's a big listener of the podcast.
He does.
So shout out Dennis. Great man. But with that, Dennis was probably off the island somewhere in Massachusetts, and in Massachusetts is where that dirty water originated. So let's roll right into it, and let's talk about our Boston Bruins before we get into our full-blown Atlantic Division preview. So the Boston Bruins training camp is underway. We've had a preseason game. We've had a bunch of different things going around with them. There's new life. There's new blood in the organization, and it is about as positive as I've seen things in the last 2 years, probably. The players' vibes seem to be extremely high. They seem to be enjoying Monty. They seem to be enjoying camp so far. And I think that just every single press conference that Jim Montgomery's done has given me blind false hope in the Boston Bruins. I don't know if, it's going to be stupid. It might be, but I'm fully I love what he has to say. I like how positive he's been. The guy hasn't said one bad thing about one of his players. He's talked about how he's going to, you say that, but Bruce was a guy who had no problem suing his players in the media. I don't think we're going to get that out of Jim Montgomery. I really don't. Probably because of the life experiences he's gone through and just just his personality. I don't think he's going to be a use the media as a weapon type guy. You know what I mean? I just don't get that vibe.
Yeah.
How do you feel so far? Either one of you.
For me, I think it's a really positive light around the team. Like if you just looked at the roster, right, for the Bruins this year, you look at them and be like, oh my God, like this is a Stanley Cup contender roster with the players that they have on it. Bringing Krejci back this year, doing the flip Haula for Zaka. Now they have Anton Strawman on a PTO. But the thing that I think is going to really hurt the Bruins and potentially, cause them to have to fight for a playoff spot is the 3 injuries to begin the year with, McAvoy, Grzelcyk, Marchand. Sounds like you might get some of these players back sooner than expected, but you can't really count on that. You never know if they start training again and tweak something and poof, they're out for another month or two. It's kind of a crapshoot you can't really guarantee on. But the overall vibe around the Bruins right now is pretty positive so far.
Yeah, no, I totally touch on that. Definitely the injuries are going to hurt. You can't replace Charlie McAvoy, but what we saw out of Jakob Saboro, the kid, he's back. He's fully healthy from the ACL tear, and just playing 25 minutes of ice time the other night. He looked like he has the offense. He has the defense. He was like one of the only players that really stood out the whole entire game. He played a full game, both ends of the ice. So I think Zaboro can reach the level that he was starting to flash before his injury last season. I think the Bruins are definitely in good shape up there in the top 4, especially if Carlo, like Montgomery's talked about, we're going to get Carlo going offensively. If Carlo can take that step like you've been hoping the last couple of years he would, I feel like the defense is in a lot better situation than we thought, especially if Strawman can come in and solidify that. So that's definitely exciting to see there. And then for me, it was the rookies. Like having Beecher playing on that top line, playing along with DeBrusk and Foligno. He's doing what he needed to do. He didn't wow you, but he showed he knows how to use the big body. He knows he's ready to play. And I think having him play with Foligno, you have him trying to get adjusted to possibly playing with Foligno on that 4th line. Because if Beecher's going to play, that's what he's going to be. He's going to be on the 4th line. He's going to be playing with Foligno. So
he's going to be winning faceoffs.
Right,
he looks
exactly.
great in the faceoff dot, that's for sure. Yeah, no, I mean, kind of bouncing off what both of you guys said, I think the Bruins, when healthy, are going to have a very, very good decor. I do think Strawman's probably going to make this team, which opens the door for a trade, and that's just without a doubt irrefutable fact. If Strawman makes this team, when you're healthy, someone's got to go. So I don't mind that. I don't mind seeing who fits and who's going to be your best guys, and then having actual NHL assets you can trade. And even if you're trading them for some draft picks, good. That's okay. Like, that's not a problem. You know what I mean? So I really do. I'm interested to see how all that goes. But from watching the preseason game, as both you guys said, my number one standout player was Zaboro. He looked like an alpha dog defenseman. His passing looked great. And I don't want to overreact to a preseason game against a Flyers roster who's playing a bunch of guys with no names, with Torts up in the box. What a clown Torts is. What a clown. He's going to do the whole preseason up in the box. That's just a Torch thing, like a power thing. Like, dude, Torts, fucking clown. Hate that guy. But, yeah, sorry, I just got angry about Torts. Something about him in the box with his little smug look, knowing he's like walking by every player and not saying hello and acting like he's above all of them. I just hate. Go Bees.
Yeah, but you kind of have to respect that, I guess, but we won't go into that too far. One of the things that has been kind of a standout for me so far is the potential 4th line matchup, like what you can pair up for the Bruins 4th line this season. It seems like they have like 12 different options for 3 positions. And I think that it's really going to cause a lot of competition, and your veterans like Nosek, Wagner, and Foligno could very well get pushed out of the lineup pretty quickly.
Yeah. I think Foligno has the longest leash out of the 3 you just said.
Yeah.
I just think he has the most actual natural talent out of the 3 of them. He has the most track record. He's the best presence, and he's the highest skilled player of the 3 of them. Nosek, it just sucks. I have no like. And they're like, Nosek's great at faceoffs. Want to know who else is really, really good at faceoffs and actually has upside and could benefit from playing on that line? Johnny Beecher. So is a great penalty kill player. So see you later, Nosek. That's what I have to say about that. Wagner, I like Wags. I like Wags a lot. I've always liked Wags. I like
He
what
made
Wags
his
brings.
presence felt in the playoffs last year, that's for sure.
Listen, if our fourth line was going to be Beecher, centering Wagner and Foligno, I won't complain. I would just say, okay, we got a young guy with 2 veterans who can usher him into the league the right way, and 2 veterans who do have the ability to score 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 goals. If they're, I mean, that could be a pretty good fourth line. But then it's like, there's guys who are pushing. There's Oscar Steen. I know I'm forgetting other people, right? Like I'm forgetting McLaughlin. But see, those guys, here's the thing. The Bruins this season, and I know Connor and I agreed on this earlier, I wouldn't be surprised if we see 7 to 8 guys who play 30 to 40 games in that fourth line. I'm really not going to be surprised if that's what we see because the Bruins, as we've said from the start, have an abundance of bottom 6 talent. They're stacked with it.
And it's just, for the first time in ever.
Yeah, no, and it's a good thing, right? Like, if we have some mid-level forwards get hurt this year, I think we can replace them with players who are the exact same. So that's always a positive. What's up, Kev?
No, then they have the big thing. You're like, if you don't trade Smith, and when Marshy comes back, Zaka's going to the 3rd, and now you have Frederick on the 4th. Like,
yeah, and I don't.
It's wild.
I think we all agree the Bruins. If everyone executes to the level that we're hoping they can, the Bruins will be forced to make a trade because they are not going. If Freddie is playing to his ability, I just don't see them choosing a guy who has a year left in his contract in his mid to late 30s over him. It just doesn't make sense for the longevity and the future of this team. And as forward-thinking, as non-forward-thinking as they are trying to make this one last year, 2-year window, 1-year window, they care about the future too. So, like, if they can usher in those young players, they want to. Because Sweeney and Neely like getting this NHL paycheck. They don't want to lose their jobs. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, like, it's just they're not – I'm not going to sit here and think the Bruins aren't looking to the future at all right now because they have these young guys in these spots to make the team for a reason. My last thing on all this, I don't want to get too long-winded on the Bruins. Fabian Lysell looked outstanding. He had about 6 or 7 chances where the Tendy just made a nice save. He's silky with his hands. He gets shots off quick. He's dynamic when he skates. He takes defenders on one-on-one. The last player the Bruins have had that looked like that as a young player, as a rookie, was David Pastrnak, and it's not a question about it. Fabian Lysell is going to be a player in the NHL. It's not going to be this year, though.
No, it's not.
Because they don't have the spot for him. And there's absolutely no reason to rush this kid and put him in a spot where he is going to be frowned upon to be offensively dynamic. If someone gets hurt, he will get his games. He'll get to play at some point this year. I fully do believe that. If he's in Providence, he'll get his chances to play in Boston. But if he starts the season with the Bruins, we're going to be seeing a major trade coming because it just doesn't make sense. Because I don't think Zaka or Jake DeBrusk have done anything to knock themselves out of the early top 6. And sure as shit, no Taylor Hall and David Pastrnak have it. So just like, what are we doing? Like, it's just people are like, Lysell has a chance to be on the second line this year. Well, what are you talking about? Like, who are you removing? Like, who are you? Is it over Pasta? Is it? Are we going to go? We want Lysell over Pasta? That's where it's like,
Well, if he doesn't sign, we want him.
Yeah, that's just Boston being Boston. My thing, like, this time of year when it's actually like it's time for people who know hockey to start talking. I tune out a lot of the Facebook group Bruins fans and their ideas and their thoughts. Guys like, Mark's got a year left and he'll be signing at vet minimum. He'll be so old. I'm like, yeah, he'll be 30. So that's not exactly 70, but I don't know. You guys got anything else with the Bruins? I'm sure there's something. No?
Not today. I mean, I guess, well, I lied. I think to the point of Anton Strawman being able to make this team, a lot of people see what he did in Florida and Arizona, and they're like, oh my God, this guy sucks. Why would we bring him in on a PTO?
Those teams
a lot of people forget Anton Strawman was the D pair for Victor Hedman for multiple years in a row. So this dude can hack it, and he can keep up with good talent.
And he can shoot the puck in the net.
He can. I don't know if he still can, but
no, but I mean, I think Strawman is fine. He's fine. And you need guys who are fine when the going gets tough.
So who do you bump?
Absolutely.
Cliffy Hockey?
Nah, I know that's the problem. It's like everything Jim Montgomery says, everything he says is just literally tailor-made for Cliffy Hockey. He wants him taking chances, making mistakes, getting in the zone, taking shots. He wants a 4-man attack. He said that today. 4-man attack's how the Bruins are going to operate. Did you hear that today, Connor? You raised your eyebrows a bit.
I didn't hear that yet.
Yeah, no, they're talking Bruins with a 4-man attack.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, so like Cliffy Hockey, Charlie McAvoy, Matt Grzelcyk are your guys for that. They're going to roll that. And Lindholm and Carlo are going to too. Brandon Carlo, Connor, speak for 1 minute, and I'm going to come back with something for us.
For Brandon Carlo?
Yeah, what do you think about Carlo in this year? Have you listened to any of his talk?
Him personally, no, but I've heard some of the conversations that Jim Montgomery's had on him and hoping that he can jump up into the play, transition the offense a little bit. And for me, like, I get it. You know, you want your defenseman to kind of start that rush there, but that's really not who Brandon Carlo is as a player. We started to see him make the effort a little bit more last year. And, you know, when it actually happened and you were looking at it on the screen, you were like, oh my God, that's Brandon Carlo. And you're like, okay, that really didn't look that awful, but he looks out of place when he does it on the ice. Like, that's not his identity as a defenseman. And I think that's where the pairing of him and Grzelcyk has worked for the most part. It's kind of like the pairing of like a Chara and a McAvoy over the past few years when they were together. You know, one of them's definitely more the stay at home, I'm going to protect your ass kind of defenseman, and the other one can live it up and freewheel it.
The point I was going to make, it's not really a good point.
Well, let's hear it.
I thought I had some ear. I looked at Carlo coming into the NHL was seen as a guy who could generate rush. I remember when he was drafted. I remember the talk about him. He was a guy who could generate offense. In his last year in juniors, in 52 games, he had 27 points. Nothing to go crazy about, but he was a point every other game guy. Carlo does have the ability to generate offense. Yes, that was juniors, and I get it. It is what it is. But I fully do think that Carlo can be a guy who can get more points. He's better than 15 points in 79 games. I think he can be a 30-point defenseman, a 25-point defenseman. And that's what I think he needs to be for this Bruins team if he's going to be in the top 4 role, because I think this team's going to be trying to score a lot of goals. You know, I really do. Like, this is going to be a much more offensive-minded Bruins team for the first time in a while. The Bruins have the talent to be super offensive. They really do. And from the back end. I don't mean from the front end. The Bruins have been pretty solid offensively from the front end. But I think we're going to see numbers jump up on the back end, and he's going to have to do it. He's going to have to. But just the way that Montgomery's talking, he wants them to be a go gadget type of team.
Yeah, I mean, there's risk and there's reward, right? Like, you can look at Jeremy Swayman and Linus Ullmark and be like, yeah, they're a pretty serviceable, you know, NHL goalie tandem. But that was with a very defensive-minded Bruins team. Now, if you're going to flip the script and, you know, want defensemen to jump up into the rush, mistakes are going to happen. You're going to get caught with your pants down.
Yep.
You're probably going to see a dip in goaltending numbers, to be honest with you. Like, the Bruins are going to go from a team who was going to beat you 2-1 or 3-2 to a team who's going to hopefully try to beat you, you know, 6-5, 6-4. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they still have the players to, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's going to be that drastic. I really don't. I think that defensively they're still going to be, because they're not changing their defensive systems. It's their transition and offensive systems.
But that's kind of one and the same.
You're going to give up more chances. You're going to give up more rushes for sure. We'll see. I think the Bruins goaltending is going to take a step up, talent-wise. I think comfortability and Swayman's going to get better. So I don't know if it really just washes, to be honest.
I don't necessarily agree. So I know that you've heard me say this probably a million times by now, but I think this is the year that Jeremy Swayman kind of comes back to reality a little bit. He's been seen around long enough in the league. Everybody's going to have that book on him now. And I think this is the year that you're going to see him be more mediocre than you have before.
Yeah, I'm still high on Swayman.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he's not going to be a great goaltender. I'm just going to say that he's going to give up more goals and more opportunities than he has previously. People are going to know where to shoot the puck on Swayman and where his flaws are.
Yeah, I mean, that book was out last year too, though. Like by the end of the year, man. Like, dude, when you play as many games as he did, they know. I mean, we saw him get exploited. We saw it. They started to get him on his lack of rebound control, things like that. I mean, they're both good. Olmark and Swayman are both good goalies. The Bruins, the goaltending is not where this team's weak. Do you think it's where they're weak?
No, I think,
I mean,
honestly, the bottom six is still where the team is weak, to be honest.
But they have the depth. You said it yourself. Most depth they've had in a long time.
But it's all mediocre.
Is it, though? Or do a lot of teams have better than Charlie Coyle as their third line center?
Yes and yes.
No, not really. They don't. I think that we forget how good of a year Charlie Coyle actually quietly had last year, and no one gives him any credit for, myself included.
What do you have? 16 goals and
16
40?
goals, 28 assists, 44 points.
Yeah.
Point every other game. That's what you want on your third line center. That was his best year of his career, other than 2016. It's his second highest year. Pretty good.
I don't know. I'm not very high on Coyle.
Yeah, you're not high on him because you don't like the way he plays. I'm the same way. I'm not very high on him either, but he does the job. He gets the
And
job
I
done.
hate paying a third line center $5.25 million.
Yep, but it's relative. The problem is when it was signed when the cap's supposed to be way higher now. It was a pre-COVID deal. We're lucky we didn't give Torrey Krug $8 million too in the same summer. Would have been a big problem. Legit.
Thank you, Don Sweeney.
Would have been a problem. I think it's time to move on. Let's jump into our next section, which is the Salt of the East, and we're going to get into our breakdown now of the Atlantic Division. The first team we're going to jump into right now, we're going to go right down the list. We're going to go with the Buffalo Chicken, Buffalo Sabres. The Sabres, the team who is most definitely destined to finish in last place in the Atlantic. No questions asked. They have no chance.
Absolutely.
They are rolling into this year knowing there's no shot. So maybe we can suck enough to get big Connor Bedard.
Hey, but they paid Tage Thompson, though.
They did pay Tage Thompson. Good for him.
Great.
You're going to be making a lot of money on a terrible team.
And they'll do it again next year to Dylan Cousins.
Yeah, I mean, the Buffalo Sabres, they still have $19+ million in cap space, but there was no real big moves. Like nobody in, nobody out.
They're going to use it. They're going to use it when Patrick Kane plays there for 35 seconds before it's a three-way trade to New York.
Probably.
The better team in New York.
Wouldn't that be wild?
So did you hear? I don't know if you listened to the episode of 32 Thoughts where Friedman said it's guaranteed. It's a three-team trade. When it happens, he's guaranteeing it's 3 team.
I haven't listened to the episode yet, but I mean everybody knows that. I mean it's pretty obvious.
And Buffalo and Arizona are those two other teams I think that'll be there ready to take a second-round pick for $8 million in cap.
I think although Buffalo's going to be bad in another kind of status quo year, there's two sort of storylines for the Sabres that I'm going to watch that are going to be interesting. One is it's a full year of Peyton Krebs and Alex Tuch, and those fucking third jerseys are fire.
One more. I do want to see how Owen Power translates to the NHL.
Whatever.
Connor doesn't know what that is. It's like, who's Owen Power?
Bullshit.
Yeah. The third jerseys are unreal.
They are.
If Jack Eichel still played in that team, I'd buy a jersey. I have a Buffalo Sabres Jack Eichel t-shirt somewhere downstairs. It was fun because people were like, how could you get that shirt? They're in the Bruins division. Because they're not going to be a threat for a long time. I can wear this shirt proud. He won't play there by the time they're a threat.
And now it's a relic.
Yeah, now it's just cool. Now it's just a cool shirt to have. But
Yeah.
I got it right when he changed his number to number 9. I was in New York City. I went to the NHL store, and I got it on like the day they had them all there. It's pretty cool.
Nice. It's got a good story behind it.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't even want to waste another second talking about the Sabres. Do you guys? I love the third jerseys. Detroit Red Wings, different story.
A lot to unpack on the Red Wings.
Significantly different story.
Once
I wish we
again,
had Garth
they are
on
a
right
threat.
now. Kevin, speak. You two go off on this.
I speak. No, I'm kind of excited for the Red Wings. Hey, just a little shout out. We have some great Red Wings writers on Inside the Rink. Garth, he's a big part of what we do. Also a fellow editor, does the Production Line podcast. So go give him a listen, read his articles if you're a Red Wings person.
Oof, with the plug.
Shout out.
And we know that Garth listens. We love you, Garth.
Yeah,
shameless
Garth's the
plug.
man.
Shameless plug.
And then we have this guy, Chris. Chris writes good articles too. Very knowledgeable guy. He goes very in depth. And they're out early in the morning at 5 a.m. for those that wake up early.
Ooh.
They got tea and crumpets writer. He likes to catch you guys before you have your first sip.
No, but I mean, I'm on the hype train with Kevin, right? I mean, Detroit still has a boatload of cap space. They're over $8 million in cap space still. They got Derek Lalonde coming in from Tampa Bay to run the bench. Now, they lost Sam Gagner, Mark Stahl, and Thomas Greiss. But the list of players that they brought in this offseason is redonkulous. Andrew Kopp, David Perron, Dominic Kubalik, Ben Sherratt, Ville Husso. Whoo!
I didn't even realize it was that many.
Yeah, and the rookies are going to be better. Cider is going to be a tank.
Lucas
and
Raymond.
and Dylan Larkin's super rejuvenated, have all his talent, and Veron is healthy.
And Bertuzzi can go to Canada.
Bertuzzi can go to Canada. I was waiting for that one.
And there, who is the other young defense? Oh, Simon Edvinsson too. Who's going to be pushing like that? And they have the best goaltending prospect too. Kosa. They're the Red Wings, man.
They are going to be the kings of this division.
Stevie Y.
Yeah, the Red Wings are going to be good. The Red Wings are there.
Oh,
they're right there.
Yeah.
They are the team. The Red Wings are the team. The Red Wings are the team that can push the Bruins, the Panthers, or the Lightning out.
Do you know a player that we've totally forgot about on the Red Wings who's been kind of a health bomb, but supposedly going to be healthy this year?
Who?
Blues legend Robbie Fabri.
Yeah, super talented kid.
Very talented, but
super
had a health
talented.
problem.
Yeah, well, his knees, man. He's blown out his knees like 4 or 5 times. I think it was in an interview on Spit and Chicklets, or not even an interview on Spit and Chicklets. They were talking about when Witt and Biz were on their PTO there in their last year, and they saw Robbie Fabri, they'd been at a training camp or something. They saw Robbie Fabri, and they were like, "Oh my god!" And they saw the kid the first time he's out on the ice. Been hurt since. But yeah, no, like he's super talented for sure. The Red Wings,
I think they have the best tandem for goalies in the NHL, in my opinion.
Yeah, the Red Wings could be the team that really makes a push. It's hard though because I just don't see. The Bruins could be a wild card. The Red Wings could be a wild card team.
Absolutely.
They really could. I wouldn't be surprised if they grab the 8th seed because I really see the division falling with the Maple Leafs 1 and then
I don't think so. We'll get into that.
It's because of the goaltending. I know it's just the goaltending. I know. I keep forgetting they don't have Campbell. I really do. I don't trust.
We'll talk about the Leafs in a little bit though.
We'll talk about how the division shakes out at the end. I need to hear all the information. Next team.
The next one.
The Florida Panthers.
Florida Panthers.
Panthers made a big splash. They made a big splash.
So let me give you the additions and the losses.
They're worse.
What do you want to hear first? The additions or the losses?
The additions. The additions is just Matthew Tkachuk.
And Colin White.
Oh, yeah, Whitey.
And they've got Mark Stahl and Eric Stahl coming in on PTOs.
Great.
And Eric Stahl has actually played very well so far in camp, with the team. However, they lost Mackenzie Weegar, Huberdeau, Sherratt, Marchment, Giroux, and Joe Thornton.
Yeah, no, like if the Red Wings were going to push a team out of the top four, it's the Panthers.
Absolutely.
I mean that. Like, Tkachuk is better long term, but he ain't better next year than Huberdeau. And he's definitely not better than Huberdeau and Weegar. The more I look back at this trade, shout out to Brad Treeliving.
And a first.
He smacked them around.
And
like,
a
I'm
first.
Not, yeah. I don't.
And they don't have a first-round pick until 2027.
That's because they traded him away.
Too.
They traded him away for Claude Giroux. They thought Claude Giroux was going to. Claude Giroux
and
was
Ben
never.
Sherratt.
They would never stay in there.
Bounce.
I just don't. I don't. And then they fired their coach, who their whole team loved. I don't. And they brought in a guy. The guy from Winnipeg. What's his name? Why can't I think of his name?
Paul Maurice.
Paul Maurice, who's a known dickhead to players. I don't
know about that.
No, I thought he was a hard guy to play for.
No, he's been well known as a player's coach.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
Really?
Check the facts.
Yeah, that's fine. Who was not? They were like happy to see him go at Winnipeg.
No, but him and Wheeler were boys.
All right, no, fine.
I don't know about that, but I will agree with you that the Panthers are the ones in this division from last year's playoff kind of round up there to, I think, be the ones to fall out of it. And then it's going to be a real tough climb for them because if you do fall out of the playoff contention, right? Well, now all of these first round picks that you've given up in trades are all pretty solid picks. And it's just going to be, a snowball effect, if you will, of suck for the Florida Panthers. And it's honestly really sad to see because they had such a great year and gained so much momentum in that market, and being able to see the Battle of Florida in the playoffs, even though it was a quick 4 games, was something really exciting to see. Like, you want to see those rivalries built in the NHL. And I think that this offseason absolutely ruined that.
It was just bad offseason for the Panthers. They're not going to win the President's Trophy. That's for sure. They're not even going to win the Atlantic. I still have them as the last team to make the playoffs because I think the Bruins are better than they are now. I really do.
I agree.
I'm not. The Cowboys won 23-16, by the way. Cooper Rush, GOAT. I don't know. I look at the Panthers, and I think they lost a little swagger with Huberdeau, too. Huberdeau, I think, was a big guy in that locker room, rolling in Lambos, McLarens, all kinds of different crazy cars every day. I think he was a super well-liked guy.
Him and Barkov have, and Ekblad, they've been together for quite a while. So, I mean, it would probably be like the equivalent of, if or when the Bruins trade Marchand, in some type of rebuild or retool. I think that's very similar, if you will.
Yeah, just a culture guy.
Yep.
The Montreal Canadiens.
Hoof.
Las Habitants.
What an offseason for Montreal. Now, they bring in the new, GM, Ken Hughes.
They cuck Shane Wright.
Who stares them down at the draft. But I think everybody realizes that Gorton is pulling the strings here. Like, this isn't Kent Hughes really running this team from a general manager perspective. Gorton has definitely got his hands in this team. You look at the losses for them this offseason. They traded away Petrie and Ryan Poehling to the Pittsburgh Penguins in exchange for Mike Matheson. They traded Romanoff away at the draft, which they turned around and used to get Kirby Dach from Chicago.
Forgot about that.
Then they traded away the Shea Weber contract because he's not going to play again. And they get Dadonov back. They draft Slavkovsky. They bring in Sean Monahan. But at the same token, Carey Price is probably not going to play again this season, if not ever. there's a lot of talk that Carey Price is done, period.
And Jake Allen needs a contract.
Jake Allen needs a contract. He's not even guaranteed to stay. There's been tons of rumors that lots of teams are calling and asking about him. So there's a lot of questions in Montreal, but the core of the Canadiens is really young, but extremely skilled. And, Suzuki, Caulfield, Slavkovsky. I would even maybe throw Sean Monahan in there. He's not like overly old by any means necessary.
New
It's just
captain.
a health scenario. And
New captain don't speak French.
And the new captain, yeah, but according to Brad Marchand, it's going to be an awful decision. So have to throw that in there.
Yeah, I think Marchand just meant more in general, but yeah, he was definitely. He was
stupid. Definitely talking about.
It's stupid.
Suzuki.
Like it is stupid. I agree. Stop naming kids with no NHL experience captains. Don't be so scared to name a veteran for a couple years till these guys hit their mid-20s, or late. Legit. Like there's no 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 35-year-old NHL veterans listening to 23-year-olds, 22-year-olds who are telling them it's just not. It's stupid. It's just to sell jerseys.
Spit in the face to Brendan Gallagher.
Yeah, it's asinine. I hate that actually. I actually agree 100%.
You're going to have people that come out and are like, oh, well, Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid, they were named captain when they were really young. Well,
yeah, and guess what?
But
McDavid has already came
players.
out. Dude, yeah, they're generational, and McDavid said a fucking week ago on 32 Thoughts, he had no idea what it meant to be a captain when he became one, and he was too young. He just said it. It's like, dude, these guys, they talk about a young Landeskog. No idea what he was doing at the start. A natural leader, yes, but still, you don't find out how to do it. It takes time to learn to be a leader.
The franchise just wants to slap C's and A's on certain people to
sell jerseys.
To sell some jerseys, to sell some loyalty. Hope. Yeah.
And to sell that when they resign in 2 or 3 years, it'll be cheaper because they feel like they owe something to that franchise. It's all about the bottom line. It's all about the bottom line. Think about it. Let's say you're new to a field. You don't get put in a management position right away if you're new to a field, but that's what they're doing in the NHL to these kids. It sets them up for failure, man.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, but the expectations are
the Canadiens are 2 years away.
Tier.
Canadiens are 2 years away from being a pretty good team. 2 or 3 years, I think. If they make the right moves.
And I believe they will.
Yeah, no, they're smart guys.
Jeff Gorton is an absolute wizard. Look what he set up for the New York Rangers right now.
Yep.
And then if you even go back further than that, when he was with the Boston Bruins, a lot of people forget he's the one that signed Zdeno Chara. He signed Mark Savard. He drafted Brad Marchand.
He has a Stanley Cup ring from that 2011 team he helped build.
Absolutely.
He does. They gave him one. They had him come back and get one.
Oh, really? They did?
Yeah, they did it. Yeah,
I guess I didn't realize that.
Oh, yeah, no, they legit gave him a ring. They gave him a ring for his help in making that team.
Shit, he 100% should. He did some significant moves in, I think he was maybe general manager for a cup of tea, a month or two before they moved on to Peter Chiarelli. Rest in peace. He's not actually dead, but he is in every Bruins fan's memory.
Yeah, because of the Tyler Seguin trade. Okay, next team. Canadiens, are we done with them? The Canadiens have a lot of question marks. They have great young talent. They're a team that Canadiens are coming into Boston. You're not just going to bet the puck line of the Bruins because there's a chance the Canadiens snap 18 goals in the net at any time.
Their roster is going to flop a lot this year. There is still way more trades coming for this team.
Oh, yeah. What's up, Kev?
Oh, no, I'm still high on Kirby Dach.
So am I.
Yeah.
I'm still high on Kirby Dach, too. It takes time. It takes time for big centers. Connor gives no one time. You either are elite right away or he doesn't. His wrist is fine now, Connor. His wrist is fine.
I'm not going to buy it until I see.
Wrists are not career-ending, brother. His wrist is going to be okay.
Prove it. I'm a prove it to me guy. I am that asshole old man NHL fan who says,
fuck them kids.
Jason Robertson signed the damn bridge contract and play instead of asking for an absurd amount of money.
Oh, Connor.
Connor
scored 40 goals.
Hey, I get it. once.
No, it doesn't. No,
It's like the
deserves
Tage
money.
Thompson
Yeah,
contract.
I mean, his bridge deal is going to be like 3 by 8, and if not, he ain't going to stay there. And dude. Why would you want to stay in Dallas? Like, I don't like that team's in the wrong direction.
Yeah, they definitely are.
All they got to do is just these young guys just justify it enough, and they'll start LeBroning all over the place. Justify them just a little bit, and they'll start LeBroning.
I mean, you are starting to turn me on that as far as like, you know, the league is focusing more on the younger players and they are going to get paid more. I get that.
They have the power.
And with the cap built to jump, it's like sign him now to this deal. It's going to look like nothing.
When I just hate it. I'm
going to tell you guys,
players get these massive contracts
before
they've
done
one good season, and then they shit
I wish
the
it was
bed.
the 32 Thoughts today. They had out an agent, and he said, so historically the NHL always paid people for their production. And that's not the case anymore, and the agents know it. They're paying for what the organization projects that player to do. The agents are figuring out what that is, and that's what they're asking for. If not, these players are going to start walking because they don't care. These agents are going to start telling teams to offer sheet their player because they don't care. Times are changing. These kids don't give a shit.
I'm really going to make their money this tomorrow.
That's the thing. Some teams going to pay him.
It's just like it's the time. These kids are different. They're different, and they're gonna get their money.
I think that like I'm not going to go too far on this because I think that I want to spend a lot more time on a different podcast.
I mean, then that's none of us are educated enough either. I think on it.
The NHL salary cap itself will need to change based on what kind of contracts we're seeing.
So the salary cap is expected to go up $1 million next season.
No. I'm not saying money-wise. I'm saying like how contracts are done. Like in the NFL, you know, you have X amount of guaranteed money. And then if you get cut or released, like that's that.
Yeah.
In the NHL, everything is 100% guaranteed.
Yeah.
So if you sign, you know, Tage Thompson to that money contract and, you know, he turns around and
that's not, buddy. Here's the deal.
You're fucked.
That's not going away until escrow does, though, man.
Maybe that's a trade that some of these
escrow would have to go away before they'd be able to do that. And I just don't know.
I think once the league gets to a certain point of
escrow's got to go away. It's supposed to go away.
Yeah.
Like the players can't just be paying back the owners all the time. Like that's not. But the Ottawa Senators.
Another day.
The Ottawa Senators.
Hype.
The team I'm the highest on.
The hype train.
Probably a little bit more so than the Detroit Red Wings. So let's go through it.
Man. They got the schnitzel.
They get rid of Colin
Talking
White.
to Germany, I went to Oktoberfest on Saturday.
Oh, God.
And there was one moment where I was eating a bratwurst and I had potato pancakes in front of me, and I thought about Timmy Stew.
Can you tell a slight pause? Can you tell the story about the people, you know, waltzing in on you while you're having a religious moment?
Like
Jake and sauerkraut don't mix.
No, I don't. I would never eat sauerkraut. It's gross. I was just going to the bathroom at this thing, and like the door just doesn't lock to the stall, and like what didn't close either. So like there was like 4 people just open the door while I was just trying to poop.
And you just looking up at them like,
hey. I'm just like, hey. I'm like, hey. And then they're like, oh, sorry. And they just went and pissed in a large trough that was in this. So here's a little background. Normally we go to Oktoberfest at this little breakfast place in town. The breakfast place has been bought, and we decided we're going to go to an actual Oktoberfest, which was a lot different than the one at our breakfast place we normally go to. And we were at a German club. But we went, no, Oktoberfest is not in October. It's in September. But we...
I'm not that cultured, I guess.
Yeah, we go to we really just went there because the band that usually plays at our breakfast place was there, the Bohemian Bros, and they play the skis, the horn, the bells. They're wild. Zupa, yeah, it's fun. I like the Oktoberfest, and I think that Timmy Stew does too, and he's gonna pop 36 goals this year in the NHL. Book it.
He's playing with DeBrincat and Giroux, so I mean,
book it.
Nothing is, out of possibilities, but they had arguably the best offseason out of any team. The only team that's going to really
Surprising.
rival them is the Red Wings, who we've already talked about. But you bring in Claude Giroux, you bring in Alex DeBrincat, you bring in Cam Talbot, who I think is going to be the sneaky big addition to this team. I mean, you got rid of Gustafsson and Matt Murray, and you kind of revamped the goaltending department there. They traded Connor Brown to the Capitals. Colin White went to Florida. And then, of course, one of Kevin's favorite things, the Kevy rumor mill. Jacob Chychrun is still hot under the collar for people in Ottawa.
It's heating back up right now, too.
I know another team that's interested in him.
Who? The Bruins?
St. Louis Blues.
Yeah, okay.
They have no cap space.
No, it's been reported.
Good luck making that trade.
It was reported today
with what Arizona wants.
They're interested, but it's still the leaders in the doghouse is.
I think 31 teams are interested in Chychrun, but is reality
not for the price. I think Connor's frozen. Kevin, is he frozen for you too, brother?
Yeah.
Just give me a little. Okay, so we'll just
it wasn't me for once.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams that are very interested in Chychrun.
Don't blame my island Wi-Fi for this.
I won't. The Senators are good. They're going to be good for a long time. If DeBrincat signs, they definitely need DeBrincat to re-sign.
That's the biggest thing right there.
Yeah.
He came out. He's like, I'm not in a rush. I want to see how this goes.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Fair.
Test
within
the
his rights.
But
within his rights. Very within his rights. Who are we to tell him he can't do that?
And speaking of the Wi-Fi and, me freezing up, I got good news. I actually made the call today. My Mediacom pissed me off enough that I am switching providers and getting fiber internet Friday morning.
That's awesome. That's big time. It's huge. You're gonna like it a lot. It just doesn't lag anymore. It's
so happy.
I've had just Dish and stuff my whole life. Getting fiber optic internet is so much better. It's just so much better. It's life changing.
Too bad they don't have it on islands.
Yeah, no. What do you got, Kev? Kevin has the bunny ear antennas. He licks his finger in a rainstorm and he gets HBO and shit. Yeah, so
he's got to wrap the things.
What do you have? What do you have now? Cox? Is Cox on the island?
No, we only have.
Oh, you have Comcast, Xfinity, yeah. Comcast. Yeah, no, I knew that. I used to use your login.
They run 3 large cables from the mainland underwater out to the island.
Yeah. All right, let's keep this thing going. Senators, they're going to be good. They're going to be good.
Not going to make the playoffs, I don't think.
Not good enough, but they're going to be good.
They're going to be good.
Next team on the list.
Oh, I hope it is.
The Tampa Bay Lightning.
Oof. Not quite yet. I was hoping we were going somewhere.
No, we're doing them last.
Okay.
The Tampa Bay Lightning. Oh, sorry, this is hockey. Tampa Bay Lightning. Before we get into anything, just want to, if we have any listeners in Florida or in the Tampa Bay area, just say, we're saying our prayer for you guys and hunker down or get out. Tampa Bay Lightning. They're the same team they have been, minus some major pieces. They lost Palat this year. They lost McDonough. A regression is only natural at this point. They're still a playoff team. I don't think they're a Stanley Cup contender. They're a contender. I don't think they're going to win the Stanley Cup because at some point attrition has to set in. They're too old of a team for attrition not to set in. And losing McDonough and Palat are major pieces to just lose. You can't just lose those guys. I also think they overpaid Saranac, and I think they overpaid Sergachev a little bit. And I don't think those are the best moves.
Yeah.
I mean, they had to, but they still have Vasilevsky, though.
They brought in Nemestikov, who I think is going to be a very underrated addition.
Yeah, I think he's a guy who will do good with fellow Ruskies.
Absolutely.
Beniers just had a sick goal in a preseason game against the Oilers. He absolutely went top cheddar.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to take a peek at that later. One of the other additions they made was Ian Cole from the Carolina Hurricanes, who, I mean, if you look at how Tampa Bay does business, he's going to plug and play, baby.
He'll score 7 to 9 goals.
Yeah.
Just that's what he...
But Tampa Bay, this is the thing that sucks for Tampa. You're in LTIR every single year. So your only way to continue to add players is by adding more LTIR.
He's not going to score
money.
7 and 9 goals. That was a fib.
Maybe 5, 4.
2. He scored 2 last year.
Yeah, but that was on the Hurricanes.
Maybe 3. I don't know. Yeah, LTIR.
The gritty Hurricanes.
The gritty Hurricanes. Get out of here. That was from last episode. But I think, like, your point that you made is Vasilevsky. I mean, he's the best goaltender in the NHL. I mean,
the Russian
that carries a lot of weight. That's 90% of the problem if you have a team.
Yeah, he's like a mix between the Cat Gaffney and Goldberg. He's got just the Connor, did you not watch Mighty Ducks? You didn't get the reference? You've never watched Mighty Ducks?
I have not watched the Mighty Ducks. I take that back. I might have watched the very first one many years ago.
How old is your son? All right.
That's the perfect age.
No,
if it doesn't have dinosaurs 5. In it, he's not interested.
Yeah, he's not comprehending that. We're gonna have to wait till 5. All right, I'll give you a pass on that. Okay. I was gonna start bitching that he's not on the ice, but again, give him.
But the Mighty Ducks jersey is one of my favorite jerseys. It's in my top 5.
Cue the duck boats. Lightning are good.
I think they're like getting ahead of here, but they are, in my opinion, the winner of this division. Are they going to go far in the playoffs? I don't think so.
I think they're just.
But I think they win the division.
I don't know
solely because of.
I don't know if they care to win the division. I really don't. I don't know. I don't know that they care to. As weird as that is, like I don't know that the Lightning have it in them to come out and just blow people away at the start of the year. They don't. They need time to get the wheels moving. They need the WD-40 to get deep in the bearings.
And like the reason why I say they're not going to go far in the playoffs, I don't think they're going to be able to make any additions at the trade deadline.
No.
I mean, they gave away so much of their capital over the last couple of years. And I mean, if you look at the Brandon Hagel trade, holy hell. They gave away 2 first-round picks, and they gave away 2 younger players in that deal for 1 player, just because he was locked up for 2 years at a really reasonable cap hit. But, I mean, they've got Nick Paul back again, who was a stud for them last year. I think he's going to be your underrated star player this year for the Tampa Bay Lightning, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. I can hear your crickets.
They're horrible. And you know what? It's not just me to like put this on record here. I've been talking to some people like at work and things like that. And everybody is in agreement.
Is that what you guys are talking about, the water cooler? You're like, you hear them crickets?
Absolutely. The crickets out here are awful this year. Like I told you on one of the last podcasts that we did, I was out mowing my lawn and literally dozens of crickets were jumping out of the way of the lawnmower as I was going up and down the yard. I'm like, where are all of these things coming from? Like, do I need to light my backyard on fire or what? Probably not a good idea. My fence would probably burn down and then my neighbor would.
You do a controlled burn, buddy.
Yeah,
Jake's a firefighter.
You just gotta dig it out, take it out. What you could go to do you guys got Home Depot down there?
Yeah, we got Home Depot. Come on now.
So like
dude, it's the Midwest.
When you walk in Home Depot, they usually have a ton of insecticide right when you walk into the right. And it's usually like $9. Just get some of those and just pepper your lawn with it.
And then not let my kids or my dog run around in the
15 minutes
for a little
just
bit.
15 minutes, buddy. Just keep them in their cages for 15 minutes. The Toronto Maple Leafs.
Here we go, baby.
So the Toronto Maple Leafs to me are very, very talented. They're cursed, but they're very talented. Is this the year they break through and get out of the first round?
No.
I don't know if they have the goaltending too, but I think they have the offensive firepower that is finally going to do it. I don't think Austin Matthews will be stopped this year. Austin Matthews could score 65, 70 goals. He is that good. Their defense is okay. I would like to see them re-sign and get what's his name, Sandin in there. I think he's very important to this team.
So I'm going to touch on the Matthews thing. I don't think that he's going to have as easy of a year scoring goals in his own division. Like, if you think about it, the only two teams that have, or three teams that have mediocre or less goaltending, Buffalo, Montreal, and then themselves, is a big question mark in Toronto.
It's still like
everywhere else is, pretty solid. But let's just talk about their goaltending for a second, because I think
it's all about Matt Murray.
The biggest storyline of the team. They lose Jack Campbell. They get rid of Peter Mrazek in the captain of Chicago. Samsonov from Chicago, I am personally extremely high on.
Yeah, Chicago. He came from Washington.
I mean, Chicago, Washington. I was looking at the name Peter Mrazek and said Chicago. But I am extremely high on Samsonov. However, Matt Murray played with some of the coaching staff on Toronto in juniors.
Yeah,
know exactly what they're getting here. And let's not forget, like, a lot of people
he's
will
a cup
say
champion.
2-time cup champion. Now, mind you, Marc-Andre Fleury played a lot of the games during the regular season to get them into the playoffs, but he played when it counted. Okay?
Yeah, like
he pushed them through the playoffs and won. I honestly think that Matt Murray kind of, had little concussion brain almost in Ottawa with the amount of pucks that he was just getting hammered with on a really crappy team for 2 years, or 1 to 2 years. And that's honestly going to be like the storyline. Either the Toronto Maple Leafs goaltending is going to be lights out and we're going to be like, holy shit, this team can go to the Stanley Cup, or they are going to be complete dumpster fire.
They're going to be 2012 to 2015 Philadelphia Flyers. Just a team that has all the pieces but the goalies. So we'll see. I mean, I do fully think that Samsonov is super talented, super athletic, and super crackable. He's an egg that can be cracked. I think Matt Murray is super talented, super low in confidence, and he's getting older and slower. So we'll see. But the Leafs have every piece of the puzzle.
And they added a lot of bottom six.
Yeah, I mean, they're good. The Maple Leafs are good, and there's no way around it. They're the best Maple Leafs team that they've had in the last 4 to 5 years. They're very good. But there is something to be said with the sports psychology within this team.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they might need to get worse before they move further. Maybe. They might need to lose a Mitch Marner. They might need to lose a Nylander and get a veteran presence in there, or a guy who can just be like, we can get through this first round. We can do this. Because I fully think that within the head of their leaders, within the head of Matthews, Tavares, and Marner and Nylander, there is doubt. There's doubt there.
Those guys that's what they were looking for in Giordano.
Yeah, and it's what they were looking for in Joe Thornton. I think it's what they were looking for in Patrick Marleau.
Jason Spezza.
It just didn't.
None of it's worked out.
It hasn't worked. Seattle Kraken got Morgan Geekie too in that draft, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Kraken have some talent.
They do, but that's a story for another day, my brother.
Why don't we do that next? Why don't we do the Pacific next week?
We can.
I'd love to do the Pacific next week. Little teaser. We're going to do the Pacific next week. The Maple Leafs are good. Connor, give me your top 4 teams in the East.
Ooh, my top 4 teams.
In the East order? Or the Atlantic?
The Atlantic, sorry.
Do you want it in order, or can I just lay them out?
You just lay them out. You know what? We only gave 3 teams from the Metropolitans, all of us, I think. So we can give 5 teams.
Okay. So I am going to go, and I'm going to actually put mine in order because I'm feeling risky business. So I can listen to this again later on in the year and see how good or awful I am. I'm going to go Tampa Bay, Toronto, Boston, Detroit, Florida.
What'd you do? Okay, I got it.
Tampa, Toronto, Boston,
Detroit, Florida. Okay, mine's going to be Toronto, Boston,
Ooh, homer pick.
Tampa, Detroit, Florida.
Mine was the same as Jake.
So we all have Ottawa missing.
Yeah, Ottawa missing.
I don't think they're there yet.
Do you think DeBrincat will want to stay around?
Depends on how much fun he has with Matthews and Josh Norris and
Matthews.
You know I meant to Chuck. It's late. It's almost midnight. Like we're not even doing the Wild West. We're saving it for next week for our West Focus pod.
Absolutely.
Well, we do have a bet for you. Want me to get into it?
Go ahead.
We do have a bet for you, so let me cue the Lucky Duckies. Sorry to get to my screenshots.
And for those that want to know, the bet I picked did win.
Last week?
Yeah.
Yeah, we won. We did win. We won last weekend. Won last weekend, and Kevin and I both won tonight. So we are on a little bit of a hot streak. Kev, you agreed with this bet, right? The one I sent today?
Sure.
Which one? You guys have zillions of bets.
No.
Freaking degenerate.
This is
we're not addicts.
Yeah, we don't go there. So
everybody, please gamble responsibly.
We're talking parlay Bills over the Ravens money line, parlayed with the Eagles beating the Jaguars. I think the Bills will not lose 2 weeks in a row. There's just no chance. Like there's no chance they don't lose 2 weeks in a row.
Can we take a quick football kind of chat here? And what's really driven me absolutely up the wall about Buffalo Bills fans?
Sure.
The amount of crying and sobbing and
like
making excuses about why they lost.
It's like, guys,
you lost the game.
If it was the playoffs and your team didn't lose their whole defensive backs, both safeties in their corner, you would have won that game. And I would. And if it wasn't a hot summer day in Miami with –
and then it was, they didn't provide our players with any shade.
Go away. Yeah, no, shut up.
And, showing pictures of the field.
That's so stupid. It's like I would not even
is on their players.
I would not even remotely worry about that, Buffalo. You're going to lose some games. In the playoffs, Buffalo don't lose to Miami.
Wait, you say you're taking the Bengals?
No, the Bills and the Eagles. Parlay, they're plus 104.
I was going to say Thursday Night Football, Miami, plus 3.5 versus the Bengals in Cincinnati. You heard it here first.
I like that too.
Tua is just being.
Is it minus 110?
I don't know. No, they're plus. No, because they're the underdog.
Yeah, but you're taking them by the points, Kev.
Yeah. But no, you took the money line too. They're gonna win. But
I don't know. But it just I do think that desperation comes into play early in the season still. The Bengals don't want to be 1-3, and the Dolphins can be 3-1. You know what I mean? I'll stay away from that game. I really will. I like the Bills are significantly better than the Ravens, who almost just lost to the Patriots. And I think the Jaguars are good, but the Eagles to me have been the best team in the NFC so far this year.
Oh, Eagles are rolling.
So I just
City of Brotherly
I'm going
Love.
the Eagles and Buffalo parlay. I like that bet. I think that kind of wraps it up. If you guys want to get some Inside the Rink merch, you guys want to get some Cue the Duck Boats merch, go to InsideTheRink.com. You guys want to read both Connor and Kevin's articles because Connor's been back in the saddle a bit. Woo! Get over to InsideTheRink.com and read all the Bruins content that's going on. Read all the other teams' content too. Kevin, when the season starts, writes about the Flames. He writes about the Wild. He gets a little wild. And also, if you want to watch the video of this, you guys want to see me blow my nose, you want to see Connor lose internet, you want to see Kevin eat his month-old chicken, you guys want to just be here for the banter, you want to see Kevin's pretty smile, give us a subscribe on Inside the Rink.
And one big shout out for the absolutely minuscule female audience here. Kevin is definitely a single man, and he has Chick-fil-A waiting.
Yeah, I don't think we have a big female audience, but yes. Connor and I are very much so not, but Kevin very much so is. So hit him up. 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 Hit him up.
He's the lyrical gangster.
Oh, he is a bit of that.
Murderer. Until next week, peeps. Oh boy. Ah!
Hi.
Only people on YouTube are going to get that.